What's up, everybody? We are back. John Delarose here, the leading Hispanic voice in science fiction, coming at you with a little bit of a surprise review for Thor Ragnarok. I picked this up at Flying Colors Comics the other day on a lark and really enjoyed it. So I just want to go through and let you guys know about this. Ragnarok is a book by the Honorable Walt Simonson. Walt Simonson's one of those classic comic creators who really did a lot for Marvel. His Thor run is considered some of the best out there. So he's returning to the character of Thor, but taking the Marvel superhero context out of it. And he's penned a fantasy. And it's a post-apocalypse fantasy. And I don't really want to call it a post-apocalyptic as a genre. Because it really is, it's got a lot of high fantasy elements in it. There's elves, there's dwarves, there's dragons, there's things like that. And Thor is fighting some very interesting creatures throughout all this. But the concept is all the old gods, had a big battle and were killed. And they went away. And the only one surviving, to some degree, is Thor. Which kind of spoils the first issue. Sorry about that, for those who haven't read it. There's Thor, actually. He's like this dead Ghost Rider character who has just been sustained here for hundreds and hundreds of years, dormant, basically. And it starts out with this group of assassins who are dark elves who are sent to go find him. And they awaken him, and that's a bad day for the elves who are there. And by that, they try to kill him. And as they try to kill him, Thor does his Thor thing. Now, what's interesting about this version of Thor is he's got a very sarcastic attitude. He still maintains his traditions, but he's definitely, he's got a little humor to him with his little skeletal self there. I love Walt Simonson's art all the way around. It's super dynamic, super fun, super comic-y. Actually, I don't know who did the lettering, but the letters are really over the top for these. Here we are. John Workman is the letterer. Letterers don't get much credit. Laura Martin did a great job on the colors too. I really love the blue, like the old fantasy colors, and then the blues along with Thor's hammer makes for a very interesting, different read. But the letterer really goes way over the top with these sound effects on this like very serious fantasy looking stuff. And it adds a pretty fun element to the book also. So yeah, Thor ends up slaughtering all those elves, and then it turns out that this elf assassin lady right here was doing this basically because her child was promised eternal life by this like dark demon being, and she's hoping that he does his thing, and she begs Thor to protect her child. Thor says okay, and eventually, as Thor wanders and finds out that like Asgard's been destroyed and all that, he comes across the Dark Elf's husband, and how far does that go into here? Battles some elemental creatures, battles a troll, battles a bunch of, just battles things that you'd find in different fantasy comics. And then there's this like Inferno fire demon or whatever at the end who's trying to hunt him down. So that's what we got here. It's got a cover gallery at the back, some of the concept art from the book. And I don't want to spoil too much about it because it is newer than a lot of the other stuff I read, and I actually want people to pick this up. I feel like because it's an indie book, there's not as much hype surrounding it as a lot of the Marvel stuff I do. And so I highly recommend this. This is, I read this all in one sitting. Took me about, 20 minutes because it's a pretty short book. Really enjoyable. So enjoyable to the point that I actually got volume 2 right afterwards. So I actually read this one sitting, picked up volume 2 the next day, and I'll be reviewing that one soon too. So lots of good fantasy fun in here. I told my wife, honestly, I think this might be a better fantasy story than Lord of the Rings in many ways. It's got high fantasy elements, but they're not annoying. They've actually put twists. Simonson's put a bunch of twists on the different archetypes of elves and dwarves and even the troll involved. And then there's a ton of Norse mythology references in here also. So a lot's going on in this book. A ton. The writing is superb. There's so much action in it. Like I said, I love the lettering, and I love the little like blue effects that the colorist does also. I think it's a lot of fun. I love the tone of the book. It's both serious and it has comedic elements. Gosh, I have no complaints about this book whatsoever. And this is my favorite read of 2020 so far. So 10 out of 10. Walt Simonson's fantastic. Everyone who worked on this book, great job. And I will get to volume 2 very soon. It does end on a cliffhanger, so you definitely want to pick up volume 1 and 2 together probably. I will mention that right now. And it does end at about the spot where Thor's kind of in this broken Asgard, and this Inferno demon's about to send down rain hell on him or whatnot. So there it is. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, everybody. And thank you for tuning in for another comic book review. See ya.